Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Criminal Justice Corner, where we give you the real details surrounding the case, and then we give you tips on just in case you find yourself in that same situation. We help you try and get yourself out. Today, I have with me a very special guest, Dr. Felix Kravets. And of course, I am your host, Dr. Jennifer Matthews. Today, Dr. Felix will be talking to us about phishing. We all know somebody who has been a victim of phishing. Dr. Felix, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, sure. Thank you for inviting me, and appreciate your time. Um, we we talk about phishing, and I bet every one of us were targeted by phishing attacks one way or another. Either we do recognize it or we don't. Through emails, through phone calls, through texting, um, through voice cloning. Nowadays, even if you don't use computers so much, simple phone, which is now smartphones, every phone is smart nowadays, is allowing us to receive text messages and phone calls from unknown people. And that is a way for phishing attacks, unfortunately, to um, for us to be targeted by those phishing attacks.
Yes. Now, Dr. Felix, you have a business that revolves around phishing. Can you tell us about this business?
Sure, thank you. Thank you for this question. Definitely, I run a company called CyberSecurityEasy.com LLC, and our main goal is to deliver to everyone the coaching and training options to be trained on what is phishing and how to be protected. We serve seniors, we work with children, we work with business owners, and we work partially with insurance companies selling cyber insurance to train their clients on what is phishing and how to be safer.
Now, is this training virtual? Is it in person? How do you deliver this training?
Thank you. Thank you. Great question. So, um, the company is located in the northwest suburbs in the Lake Zurich area. So we have face-to-face training options in the Chicago region, and for other states, we deliver it over the internet through Google Meet.
Nice. Okay. So anybody can basically take advantage of these services because they are virtual and they are in person.
Definitely, definitely. Normally, it's a group meetings, and the main set of customers that you currently have is a senior facility. So if you work in a senior facility, you manage seniors. Unfortunately, one of the top targets based on the data published by FBI. Over 67% of increase in phishing 2 years ago was recorded specifically for seniors. And this group of our community, less computerized, unfortunately, and in many cases they have, um, I don't want to say bigger amount of money comparing to young groups, but they do have savings at this age,
Mm.
and this is one of the main reasons they being targeted.
So you're saying that more likely than not, the person being fished or the target, I should say, is a senior. What phishing scams are you seeing being targeted towards seniors?
Thank you. Very good question. And I apologize if I did say it in an incorrect way. I believe everyone is a target, not necessarily seniors. Um, if you think of anyone who has a credit card, this is a potential target. So anyone who
Okay.
can pay is a target because attackers trying to make you trust, in what they're trying to achieve, make you believe that they're calling from the bank, make you
Okay.
believe that they're calling from IRS, let's put it in a standard standard cases. They call you from police asking for money. They call you from insurance companies. They tell you you will be arrested or you have to pay immediately, $300 because you own it. And, so they're trying to stress you get in a corner so that you will make any possible um, we'll try any possible ways to resolve it during the phone call. And in most of the cases, this is what you should not do. But outside of seniors, the children with what they call sextortion is one of the biggest targets nowadays, where parents not always know who are contacting children in terms of video cameras and microphones, and that is a big deal. Unfortunately, young kids, suicide based, due to sextortion attacks, which is now highly popular, unfortunately, and attackers demand money in exchange to recorded video clips. I would say businesses is the biggest target as well, but in general, each one of us, 97% of all cyber attacks in the United
Hmm.
States
Okay.
have a social engineering component. So it's everyone, basically.
So let's say that it's a child who they are targeting. What does that look like? What does that phishing scam look like for a child?
So again, there is multiple reasons attackers can attack. One is financial, which is a major. And if this is child, what's it called sextortion, which is letter S in front of extortion,
Okay.
which is connected to basically sexual assault. So
Okay.
the scenario is if the child is or young adult talking to another young adult, and they talk about relationships at the beginning, and they asking one of them asking another one to get undressed, and they possibly might be agree, and they both get undressed, and but one of them is a setup, and
Okay.
one of those two recording everything on the videotape or on the computer. I
Okay.
don't know, sounds old, it was videotape, but and then after this recording was completed, adults coming to the room and saying, okay, so now we have your recording, or not necessarily adults, it might be the same, person who was talking to, to second, to the partner, and say, now
Okay.
we have your recording, and you have to pay money, or we're going to publish it in the high school or in middle school on the social media. So basically, they demand money in exchange of not publishing video clip with this person being naked, or doing whatever they're doing on a camera.
Okay.
And young adults trying to, or young kids, say, I don't know what age it would be, but um, those people trying to find money in any possible
Right,
way
because they
to
don't
pay
have
off.
any money. Most kids,
And
young kids, I should say, don't necessarily have money. Their parents have money. So what are they supposed to do to get money at that point?
so, unfortunately, in based on FBI data, many of those kids suicide, illegal suiciding. But
They
the
commit
best way,
suicide. Okay.
yes, ma'am. Unfortunately, and that is the biggest problem. And
Hmm.
definitely, parents who are listening have to very carefully look at what children doing on the internet. Explain children. I just wrote a book on Amazon about. I
Oh,
didn't call it sextortion, but it's for children between age of 7 to 12, talking about being careful with camera and microphone.
okay.
My kids age, in ages between 5 and 9, so I'm kind of targeting this group in the meanwhile. But it's a you have to, as a parent, you have to carefully build up relationships with children and explain danger, show examples. I know that children always listening to multiple sources, not necessary to parents at the
Definitely not to parents. I
in the
have a
first place.
child.
Yeah, yeah. But to explain maybe through school system, and if you work in the school system, we'll be happy to help you with this. But try to explain children that it's not necessary the person who represent himself or herself as a
Hmm.
child, or even if it is a child, you do not know what is behind this person. So camera and microphone today is a tool, and unfortunately it's a dangerous tool that used, if you're talking about children specifically.
Now, you said you wrote a book and it's available on Amazon. What is the name of that book?
In 1 second. So if you put in Amazon my first last name, the book will pop up. The book
Okay,
is
so we searched
called
it by Dr.
Kids.
Felix Kravets on Amazon.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. So it's called The Kid's Guide to Safe Online Communications with Others. It's a
Okay, and
long, yeah. It's a kid's guide
so
to
this
safe.
book can help parents, and so this book can help teachers and parents of young children. You said 5 to 9 is the target in preventing or trying to prevent phishing attacks.
Basically explaining children, yes, ma'am, explaining children that parents are there and you need to check with parents if somebody's trying to ask you to turn on the camera or to turn on the microphone, and in any type of circumstances where a known person is directing you to connect or to ask for visual connection or to audio connection to communicate with parents or to
Now,
visit
I have
you,
a
visit
question.
teacher. Yes,
Now, I
ma'am.
have a question. We know a lot of times young kids are in their rooms, they are playing video games, with their friends, things like that. What are parents supposed to do if they think that they're playing these video games with like-minded children, same age approximately children? What should parents be doing? What would be the smart thing for parents to be doing at this point if they're, trying to be
Uh,
safe?
Great question. So my children playing robot, robot,
Roblox?
Roblox,
I think
Roblox.
that's how
Yes,
you say it. Don't
exactly.
get me.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm asking the best way is possible to be a friend to a child. I would say that as the biggest component to ask children on a daily basis how's they doing, what happened in school. So to
Mhm.
try to communicate with children as a friend, so to build relationships. And I would
Okay.
say part of this questioning of relationships, not if we're not talking to children at all, and out of blue saying who are your friends, give me a list. It might not necessarily work well. I would
Right.
say, like with everyone else, like any relationships, you have to build it and have a trust and have positive relationships, and make children answer questions as well, and not just ask who are your friends on your video games, but ask 7 other questions in the front of it and 3 other questions at the end. But keep checking and explain that there are criminals there who might be using children's names and children's voices to ask for other things. So again, we should not be 100% strict because it never works well. And with some games, there is no visual contact. It's only playing,
The voice.
characters, characters on the screen, etc. It might be more safe, but um, I, as a young parent, I'm trying to build up relationships and explain that every time you go somewhere, it may not necessarily be the only good people around. And even if they see or hear a child, it might not necessarily be a child, or it might be set up for adults to do something crazy, using the children's voice or name. Trying to explain kids to not necessarily have a trust. We're talking about zero trust for adults, and
Right.
fortunately, that is a reality we live in. Zero trust should be that we should teach children this from small age. And unfortunately, our school system is far behind.
Yes.
They aren't in many things, including learning how to legal protection. We're talking about cybersecurity is one of them. Health, use of credit cards. But with cybersecurity, it's one of those big things that school system is not paying attention. It's very difficult, to break into that big system to help, and they should absolutely from age of my younger child was 3.5 years old. He was still wearing diapers. They gave him iPad in school during pandemic.
Really?
He was still not potty trained. He had an iPad and he knew how to get an iPad, how to get to virtual classroom, 3.5 years old. So we live in a
Wow.
world where cyber safety should be, you
Top
know,
priority.
yes, ma'am, it's from age of 3 and 4, not when people already have credit cards. And unfortunately, assumption that if you don't have credit cards, there is nothing attackers can do in today's world is wrong. And like I
Because we
said,
know
this
they
six,
do it through your email too. People, they have emails, so they attack through emails too, right?
exactly, exactly. And even schools monitoring emails, the extortion business,
Hmm.
it's craziness with what, how attackers attacking children to get money out of them. Basically, put all the children at risk at any
Okay.
age.
Now, let's say a senior citizen home, they are vulnerable because they, like you said, typically have a lot of money that they've amassed over the years. What does a typical phishing scheme targeted towards seniors look like?
Thank you. Very good question. And I know that we have short time to answer all the questions, so I would recommend to, in addition to what we're talking about, to continue educating yourself. Google everything that we're talking about and keep reading on a daily, weekly basis. Take some time out of your social media, Facebook and Twitter, and whatever you do, and try to pay more attention to that topic. And I work with senior facilities. Senior facilities is the biggest honeypot for attackers because in addition to having money, seniors
Hmm.
have feel very uncomfortable with many different things, such as
Okay.
not
Asking
paying
for
bills on
help.
time. Yeah, and they getting attacked by phone calls offering less pay, less expensive insurances. They
Okay.
asking to answer questions, or they do winning lottery type of scam where
Ah,
they asking for, small payment in exchange to free vacation to Florida. They offer trial of medications. Very popular trick. They saying we're gonna pay you money back. We're calling from pharmaceutical company, and you entitled of a few $100 because medication you purchased 2 years ago now recalled, and we need to know your insurance company information and your credit card
mm,
or debit card to want to give you money back. So, or lottery dating is very popular.
really?
Spam IRS is, even though it's very old. So if you Google FBI space common crime schemes, there is multiple sources, and starting from government sources to all type of private companies will provide you with dozens of different scenarios. We have a website, we have the YouTube video clips that we post on our YouTube
Okay.
channel. It's
Okay.
cybersecurityeasy.com. Feel free to sign as well. It's completely free. But
Now
senior
that's a
facilities, sorry, please go ahead.
no, I was gonna say that's a new one on me where they're saying that they were calling the medication. I hadn't heard that one before.
Yeah, unfortunately, um, Dr. Jennifer, we always behind the whole as a all society, not only in the United States, the whole world is behind, and we're catching up with new tricks hackers are developing. Unfortunately,
Okay.
they're developing new ones, and every time we tell everybody, "Oh, did you hear about that?" While we're doing this, attackers are coming up with new tricks. So there is
Ah,
really
okay.
no way, really, there is no really way to not to be behind. And if we think about cybersecurity in general, now
Okay.
biggest companies trying to combine their records. And let's say the banking system nowadays have one network, and if you're attacking one bank in a certain way, the bank will tell all other banks, "Hey, we get attacked using that way. So please close all the windows, from that side." So all the banks will go and try to close that, the specific door or specific port on the network. So the only way to really be up to speed is educate yourself and keep it like spend 10, 20 minutes daily to look for news on phishing and on the new tricks that they coming up with.
Wow. So once we have talked about the phishing scams and the things that these attackers continue to come up with, I always like to give my listeners like a takeaway, a tip that they can, walk away with after they've listened to the episode. What is one tip that you would just give anybody that they can just keep in the back of their mind every day to try and prevent a phishing scam?
Sure. I would be, I will say something everybody probably knows. Everything you say will be used against you. Okay. You know, everything, all information you will tell to the phone caller or you will answer via email will be used against you no matter what. So the only thing you should do is think zero trust approach. People who call you or email you or text you, you should always think 99.99999% is a lie. So if
Wow.
you receive the email from Chase Bank, text message from Chase Bank, just ignore it. You should not ignore it fully. You should call back using the phone number on the back of your card. But you should
Okay.
never respond directly to people who are communicating to you because more than 99% of chances in nowadays it might be a scam.
Okay. Okay. That's really good information because normally the scammers, let's say it's an email. Normally the scammers have a scammer email, they have a scammer phone number. So that's really good information.
And in many cases, they're spoofing the number. It will show you as a chase number when they call you. And email will come from, from the support at chase.com. So they can make it look highly legitimate. And there's no way to determine, except if you highly specializing in this field, if it's true or not. So the best way would be not to scream on them, not to call them bad names, just to say thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me call back using the main number on the back of the card.
And that's how
Not to
you can.
communicate, not to follow their phone numbers or their emails, because they will provide you with a number which will be also fake. So you say, I appreciate your call. Thank you so much. I'm going to hang up right now, or I'm going to stop texting, and I will contact bank directly.
Nice. I like that tip because people don't know that. They think, oh, this is the number. I'll use this number. But the best remedy is to use the number on the back of your card because you know it's legitimate because you know your card is legitimate.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay. I like that. So, Dr. Felix, where can people get in contact with you, your business, if they want to work directly with you?
Sure. Thank you so much for this question. I really appreciate it. So again, we're at cybersecurityeasy.com, and my direct email is info for like first four letters of information at cybersecurityeasy.com. We'll be happy to come to your senior facility, to your business, with our training options. And we provide 1 hour free training to anyone. It's subject to availability online. So if your company or if your senior facility looking for a free 60 minutes training with no without any obligations, we'll be happy to assist.
That is so wonderful because this information is sorely needed in today's climate where people are really becoming so vulnerable. So, thank you for that.
Thank you. Last point I want to say, if I have 1 more second, it was
Sure.
AI cloning. With AI cloning, it's moved us to the completely new level where if you pick up the phone and people record your voice and
Oh
you don't
my
know
gosh.
about it, they call you, they say, Hi, it's Jennifer. Hi, I'm Felix. I'm from Felix and Associates Real Estate Company. Would like to sell your house at 123 State Street, at Chicago. And you say, No, thank you, I'm not interested. They record just a few letters, a few words that you speak up and they upload it into the web page that costs only $5 per month. And
No.
they can type any text that will be spoken using your voice, and your closest family member will not be able to determine the difference.
Oh
If
my
they
gosh.
receive the voicemail from you with your voice, it might be AI generated voice. There is no way except if we have heavy accent like myself. That's my protection. So if you have accent or specific dialogue from the foreign country, that not necessarily working well. But if you are born in the United States,
Right.
there is almost no way for people who receive those messages to determine if it was the view of someone else.
That's
So
serious.
grandmas receiving voicemails from granddaughter saying, "I'm in Mexico one day with my boyfriend. Don't tell my parents. Can you please send me $2,000 because those criminals took all our money and I cannot come back. Don't tell anybody, please." And grandma will send it. They send messages from CEOs of companies or CFOs to transfer money immediately ASAP to these account numbers to the associates. There is no way nowadays to determine if voicemail and even video clips.
Oh my
People go
gosh.
to, so you can have the video clip. If you Google the Boris Johnson arrested photo picture, it will be AI generated photo picture of Boris Johnson being arrested in London with three police officers. And it's so real. Nowadays, you can have a video, photo pictures, voice, or combination of those in a video clip,
What?
which will be totally you. And they can show it to your spouse,
What?
and you will be walking with people who you do not know, who
Okay.
might be hugging us, and you'll be talking to them, and it will not be you, and nobody will be able to determine the difference. So we're talking
Wow.
about zero trust approach.
Yes.
Voicemails, you should always call back to double
Okay.
check if the
If it's
voicemail
real.
is actually from the person on the business side. If it's your business partners, C4, CEO, immediately ASAP transferring money, making decisions based on the voicemails. Completely unacceptable nowadays. Most of it is phishing. So you have to think of
Wow.
how you communicate with each other. So if you run a business, the
Yeah.
best tip is to have the password. So if you are C4, if you do voice commands and send
Okay.
messages to your employees, to have weekly password. So if the voicemail came without the passwords, asking to transfer money to make decisions, you just ignore it or call back and to confirm. So set up simple passwords if you run a company, and change those weekly or monthly, depends on how fast you're running in terms of operations.
Wow. That's a really good one because I didn't know that. I didn't know that it could spoof your own voice. I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you Google, and like I said, the price to do it is $10. For me, as a trainer, I record myself for 30 seconds. I uploaded the video into that website. Now I can type any text and I will be talking as I will be reading lecture. My mouse will be moving exactly like I'm reading, so I have to record it all the time. Um, so
Wow.
you can use it for Google for good purposes as well. But my point is, you have to be aware of it. And anything that you see nowadays, music that you're listening, recorded
Hmm.
by bots, video clips, recorded by bots, articles that you read, recorded by bots. Um, if you have time, go to YouTube and check the video clip, which is 7 years old, called "Human Need Not Apply."
Wow.
Human need not apply. It's a 7 or 8 years old. I believe it's 15 million people watched this video. It's about technology, how technology replacing jobs, but it's
I
still
bet.
it's very great video. I was showing to my students 7 years ago, 6 years ago, many years ago. It's still valid in terms of what can expect from technology, but they show a lot of things that technology can do nowadays. And keep yourself up to speed with this. It will help you in business and personal. If you're looking for a job, to use AI to generate resume, to come to make the resume to fit the job description. For example, to match the job description. We have follow-up emails for cover letters if you apply for a job. Whatever your objectives are, AI is there to help. But also keep in mind that criminals doing the same thing, trying
Right.
to hurt us. Yeah, and just keep educating
Wow.
yourself.
Yeah.
And be careful, utilize zero trust approach. Okay,
Definitely. That's gonna be my takeaway. Zero trust approach.
for sure, for sure. Thank you.
Wow. Well, Dr. Felix, I want to thank you so much for being my special guest. You gave us so many tips today. I think people are going to have to write them down because it was so many.
Please, and again, I did not go to school for this. You educate yourself. As I believe it was Elon Musk recently said, there is a way to find. Oh, he's talking about higher education, always saying there's no need for higher education, but he has always pointed people to Google and YouTube. He's saying
Yes.
that today to educate yourself to the top of being highly knowledgeable using internet. So I
Yes.
just want to say the same words. Please monitor what is going on in the industry. Spend some time. Just go to news and type there phishing and watch for what is going on and what not to do, because things are changing every day. And
Yes.
we discuss today, tomorrow will be old. So
Right.
people will be coming up with new tricks. So you educate yourself and keep up with newest technologies and understanding how to defend yourself.
We will do just that. I want to thank you so much for being my special guest. And I want to thank the listeners for listening. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to Criminal Justice Corner on Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. And we will see you the next time on Criminal Justice Corner. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.